Hey there, Natalie Eastman here with a higher note in the Keep Singing program. We are going to discuss right now another one of our practical plans for setting yourself up for vocal success. And this time we are discussing nutrition. Oh, nutrition, the N word, or some people might call it the D word, diet. But it is not so much about dieting, okay? You want to optimize your body, your vocal tract, and your digestive system for excellent mental work, and also for the practical realities of how food interacts with your vocal tract, okay? So you don't have to be the healthiest person ever. Some of the most famous singers ever, smoke like chimneys, and, historically speaking, it's probably not as much anymore. But since we learned as much as we have about cancer and all that kind of jazz, but you don't have to be the healthiest person ever, but you do need to think about what optimizes your body for optimal performance. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basic dietary things, though. You need to make sure you're getting protein. You need to make sure you're getting green things, darker the better, and colorful things. You need to not just camp out with what do you call them? Starches. Don't just camp out on starches, breads and chips, and even starchy vegetables, potatoes, carrots, like all those things. They're all starches. They all convert into simple sugar in your system. Now, the reason this impacts you as a singer is because it can directly or indirectly, it's not directly, but it translates into insulin response in your body, which is normal, natural. It doesn't mean you're diabetic. It means that your body will have a hormone reaction based on an overload of sugar in your body, and that can impact brain performance, okay? Not as much muscle performance, although a little bit, but not as much. But if you are feeling like, man, I just cannot focus on what I'm doing with my voice, you can look at that. If you're doing everything else well, if you slept well, all those kind of things, look at your diet. And go back to number one, which was water. Make sure you're getting plenty of water. But okay, so you want to, think about your diet. But let's talk quickly about some of the things, some of the foods and drinks that aren't great for singing. So on days when you're going to have a practice session, you don't want to eat or drink anything 20 minutes before you're supposed to start singing. That is because when you put something in your mouth, it activates your salivary glands, and those salivary glands are going to keep jetting spit into your mouth because it's thinking you're going to be eating something that needs to be then swallowed and digested. And so you want to not eat or drink anything except for little sips of water, or whatever your drink is that you have. But water is probably the best thing 20 minutes before you're supposed to sing, and not introduce more activation of your salivary glands. Another thing to think about is things like chocolate, large doses of acidic fruits, coffee, and other things that are caffeinated. The caffeine is a diuretic, so not only does it make you pee, but it also constricts your blood vessels. So you don't want that. You want blood flow, and you do not want to be dehydrated. You want to be hydrated, hence the drinking of the water. So you want to think about what is going to optimize your body for singing. Another thing is, be careful with nuts. I love nuts, and they're a great way to get protein, and is a great way to be satiated for a long period of time. But don't eat nuts close to when you're supposed to sing, because they can just get kind of caught in your throat a little bit. And I found myself, singing kind of. So maybe avoid the nuts close to your singing time, maybe even up to an hour before. And I know that the Boston Opera, at least for a period of time, prohibited singers from eating nuts on days of performances. I'll leave that up to you, but do give yourself a wide berth before you sing. Carbonated drinks, it just fills you up with gas, which is not good for regulating your air, because your stomach sits right underneath your diaphragm. And if it's full of all this the air from the carbonation, then your diaphragm is not going to be able to function well. So as you are learning things like the physiology of singing, like what is the anatomy? How does phonation happen? What's the physical structures and the processes that happen with inhales and exhales and supporting your breath with your diaphragmatic movement. As you learn those things, think, what's going to optimize those processes with how I eat, how I drink, how I should reverse that. How is what I eat or what I drink going to impact the effective movement of my diaphragm? And because my stomach is all filled up with food, your diaphragm is just simply not going to be able to be as flexible and nimble as you might want it to be. You won't be able to expand as far with your breath and support as well. So you just need to, as you learn, the more you learn things, start to put things together. Think how A influences B, influences C, influences your singing. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about nutrition. Just eat less of the crap and eat more of the healthy stuff. Don't eat right before you sing. Don't even drink right before you sing. Do not chew gum 20 minutes before you sing. That just causes a salivary waterfall. And just remember, whatever you feed your body goes to your brain, and whatever you feed your body, it goes to your brain and it impacts your voice, whether directly with the whole stomach situation and the gas situation and all those things, or indirectly through your brain and optimizing all your performance on every level. So I hope that this is helpful. I know it's a little bit of a drinking from a fire hose. We'll talk more about it in the program, but this is something for you to start thinking about, start wrapping your brain around, and start thinking about how you want to optimize for singing. All right. See you in the next video.